The price of progress is pain. Most people do not want to experience pain. They like comfort. Being in a state of pain or living in a state of anxiety or in a state of suffering comes from attachment. When you're attached to things, attached to people, attached to identities, attached to philosophies, then you end up being in a situation where you experience pain. But you don't have to experience suffering if you live in a state of what? No expectation, where you're just living life, taking it day by day, step by step, and enjoying yourself. So if you want progress, you must be willing to, in the process, experience pain so that you may achieve your goal.
You're spending money on the wrong fucking thing. Hear me out. When the iPhone came out, there was two types of individuals. The person that walked into the Apple store, they were super excited and they went and bought an iPhone. And then there was Warren Buffett, the guy that got excited and bought Apple stock. Somebody bought as a consumer, the other person bought as an investor and a producer. Now, by no means am I saying, hey, you have to go buy stock and you have to go invest in the stock market. What I'm saying is you need to be intelligent as to how you're spending your money. You're not buying things with money. You're buying things with the amount of time that it took you to get that money. So when you begin to respect your time and you begin to understand the value of your time, you're going to be a lot more careful as to how you spend things. If you want to live free in the future, you need to live reserved in the present. Don't be an idiot. Save your money, invest your money, and you'll have a phenomenal fucking future. If we go into the Louis Vuitton store and I go with somebody that makes $1,000 a month, they're going to look at a Louis Vuitton wallet that's worth $500 differently than me. Because to me, $500, it didn't require any time, energy, or attention for me to make it. This person, it required 2 weeks of time, energy, and attention, so they'll value the wallet in direct proportion to the amount of effort and labor that it took them to produce the necessary energy to purchase that wallet. So now I'm no longer in the premise of, is this cheap or is this expensive? How much energy and lifespan and time did it take me to acquire that thing? Because you don't buy things in life, hear me clearly, you don't buy things in life with money. You buy things in life with the time that it takes you to make that money. So the objective of multiplying your wealth is to be in a situation where you no longer work for money, but you work towards creating systems that create money, giving you the freedom so that you can use your energy to do what you want in life. And the thing is, the marketplace will pay you in proportion to that. So if you have no value to provide, it's either you don't know how to provide value or nobody can see the value you can provide because either you don't showcase it or it's just not there. Have you ever wondered why you need to raise your hand to ask your teacher for permission to ask a question? Hopefully the question does not contradict their teachings, because then you'll be sent to the principal's office and you will be put in detention. Sounds very much like prison. Many times you want to use the restroom and they say, maybe I'll let you use the bathroom. And hopefully, fingers crossed, you're allowed to use the bathroom, but before you use the bathroom, you're given a hall pass. This hall pass gives you the allowance to walk down the corridors of your school. When the bell goes off at recess, it very much resembles an assembly line. When the bell goes off, it's break time. But it does not only resemble the factories, it also resembles the prison industrial complex. All of this is conditioning designed to keep you a slave, designed to keep you subjugated and controlled. You may think there's small nuances, but if you think the world operates by chance and that things just happen, and you really don't understand how the game's played.
2014, you heard about Bitcoin. You didn't buy it.
No, I didn't.
You were given a data set. You didn't do anything with it.
Because I didn't trust the source.
Because you didn't trust yourself.
No, I didn't trust the source.
You're the source.
What do you mean?
The scientific method. You need to put the data sets through a process to test whether they're true or not. You just discarded it. You need to consume books. You need to network. You need to get involved with people. You need to develop hard skills. So it's not just the information. You need to be compatible with that information in order to capitalize. Once you understand that you can control the future of your life, it gives you the single most powerful emotion that you can feel, hope. And most people live in a state of quiet desperation. They can't pay their bills. They don't feel healthy. They wake up and they're anxious. So why are these things taking place? And if you can address that and understand that if you want to feel different, you must believe that that which you want is already yours and that time-space continuum just has to catch up. Jesus said it best when they were about to stone the woman who had committed adultery. He wrote in the sand, he said, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." And they all walked away because they were all guilty. So when you understand that you are like everybody else, that you are not above anybody, and that people really just need to be helped, then you understand that the symptom isn't all the things that are happening in society. That's just the effect. What is causing it? It's a state of not being able to separate truth from falsehood. That's all it is. The people that take certain actions in life that don't seem logical, it's because they're not living in truth. But I'm not going to judge them because they're not living in truth. I'm going to lead them with grace, with kindness, and understanding that maybe they don't know anything. What if I told you there's no such thing as cheap or expensive? What if there's only rich and poor? What if that $1,000 wallet isn't expensive? What if you just don't have money? Now, I know this may sound crazy as a concept, but when you understand this concept, you realize that you can change money and morph money and multiply money extremely quickly by understanding the principle of multiplying your time capital.
Listen to me, no offense to your parents, no offense to your school teachers, no offense to your university professors. Honestly, what the fuck do they know about success? And I'm not saying that they haven't achieved some sort of wealth or some sort of status or some sort of achievement in their life, but just because they've achieved those things doesn't mean that that's what you need to achieve. Let me give you an example. You see so many families that are these lineages of doctors or these lineages of army generals or these lineages of business owners, and eventually this black sheep comes in and says, I don't want to do that. And everybody loses their fucking mind because they're trying to box you up as to what you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to think, who you're supposed to operate under. And in reality, that is a fabric and a construct that they want to impose on you.
If you died today, your mother, me, and maybe another 50, 75 people show up. By 2 p.m., half of us are hungry. We're booking restaurants. By 5 p.m., your mom can't shed any more tears. She goes home, she goes to bed, and in the morning she figures out, how do I pay the bill? And everybody's back to work. Long gone dream, baby. The biggest fuck you that you can say to the system is, I've crossed all my T's and dotted all my I's. I am untouchable. Everything that I've done is perfect. When they look at your books, they can't fuck with you. When they look at everything that you've done, they can't touch you. The ultimate fuck you to the system is being so clean that they can't touch you. If you can master these 3 essential positioning tactics, you are guaranteed to succeed. Now, the first one is you need to be the best at what you do. You do not want to be paid for being the cheapest. You want to be paid for being the best. The second point is you need to become irreplaceable. In a time and age where artificial intelligence is advancing, technology is advancing at massive proportions at a speed that is unprecedented since the dawn of man, your ability to become irreplaceable in the marketplace will set you apart. You cannot come into the marketplace with ego and assume that you are the best, because that is how the market destroys you. And finally, you need to be on market trend. You need to make sure that your product and your service is in high demand. For you to make money, you need to master all 3 formulas. And I guarantee you that the world is yours for the taking. So if the life that you have is the life that you chose, and where you are right now is by choice, just like I'm standing here in beautiful Geneva, I chose to be here. I put my video game character here. Where's your video game character right now? Oh yeah, but my life, my parents, I'm a third world country. Motherfucker, I'm from a third world country. Look at me now. What? You can't do it. Who's holding you back? The system, the man, the woman, the ideology, the culture? Fuck all that stuff, bro. If you want to become a high-tier individual, and if you want to live life on your own terms and be the wielder of your future, then you need to start moving with intention. You need to start moving and operating with a lot of power. You need to move as if you own this place, and you will. If somebody else was able to do it and somebody else was able to be successful in the past, why can't you be that person? I don't fuck with crypto. I've removed all of my money from crypto. And the reason I've done that is because the people that are currently playing the game, that are running the game, they're no different than the bankers. They're no different than the politicians. They're no different than the people that are washing, laundering money, creating, pumping, and dumping the markets. They're the same white-collar guys with their nice black ties, pretending to be of the people, and in reality, they're just there to take every penny from it. So I go to Tate's crib, right? 5 in the morning, we go out clubbing, he brings 40 bitches. 15, 20 doms in, pop them. 5 in the morning, guy goes back in, opens up his big ass computer, fucking 4 screens, not this bullshit working on a MacBook Air. No, the guy opens up fucking 10 chats. On that side, he's playing chess, looking at crypto charts, looking at the news, listening to something. He's on his grind, he's on that shit 24/7. If you're not competing at the same level, you're gonna be left behind. You have no idea what it means to be the top tier, bro. While they're partying, you're working. While they're sleeping, you're working. While they're at the cinema eating junk food, you're at home healthy, eating organic food, developing your mindset. Why? Not because you're a freak, but because you realize that in order to get to the next level, you must be willing to sacrifice the necessities and the requirements to get to the next level. I helped a company in Wall Street with Facebook ads, and I did it for free for 2 months, doubled the revenue. After the 2 months, I called them like, hey, I want a contract. They're like, okay, we'll talk about it next month. The next day, I turned off their ads. The next day, they called me, fly up to New York. They gave me, I think, a $6,000, $7,000 a month retainer. That's the entire premise, is you need to be able to provide a value ahead of time, and you can get into the ring. Why do you limit your beliefs? Limit your beliefs because you don't trust yourself. Every time you tell yourself that you're going to do something, you break your own promise. No wonder you're not going to advance in life. Start focusing on the small wins. Get groomed. Clean your room. Start hanging out with good people. Read a chapter in a book and say, I'm going to read a chapter. And you sit down and you read it and you start building trust with yourself. And then you realize, wow, I can actually do anything that I want. Learn how to trust yourself by doing the small things right. And how you do the small things is how you do the big things. The reason you're unhappy, ladies and gentlemen, is because you are focused on the wrong thing. You're focused on the $1 million. No wonder you're unhappy. You're focused on that which you cannot control. No wonder you can't achieve anything. We expect a result without putting anything in. We expect an output that we cannot control. Yet that which we can control, which is the input, we do not focus on. So let me ask you, what can you control today? You can control when you show up, how much you work, the quality of your labor, the quality of your relationship, what you input into your ears, what you input into your ears. But nobody wants to focus on it because it requires too much patience. My friend, patience is bitter, but its fruit is sweet. Do you know that driver's licenses in the United States, I don't know about the rest of the world, do you know that you can technically drive without a driver's license? Even the cops don't know this shit. A driver's license is necessary for commercial travel, but if you're doing point A to point B leisure traveling, you technically do not need a driver's license, nor do you need license plates. This is in the law, federal law. But most of you guys do what you've been told since the moment you were born because that's all you know. Are you just like not disgusted with being average? Are you not disgusted with being like everybody else? Being mediocre, being average, being mundane? Now, if you want to live an ordinary life, walk around, do your 9 to 5, watch some Netflix or some Hulu at night, just chill, and that's fine. But if you want to be an extraordinary individual and you want to live an extraordinary life, first you have to be disgusted with your current situation. And once you're disgusted with your current situation, you must commit to changing. If you want to live an extraordinary life, you must be willing to do extraordinary things.
You need to stop listening to others and start listening to yourself. But the problem is nobody knows how to listen to themselves. They're scrolling on TikTok, music on loud every day, when they're home scrolling on their phones. When they ask for opinions, they ask for opinions from other people. They ain't even asking opinions from themselves. They're going to a fucking psychologist, asking a psychologist for wisdom and advice on how to live their lives. And they're paying this motherfucker. And all you are is a client, so might as well keep this person sick as long as possible. When was the last time you sat down and defined your symphony of success? What does success look like to you? To me, it's not having a ton of properties, living in a big fat box, having a ton of supercars. No, to me, it's freedom.
The Quran states a lot of people only get from fasting, hunger, and thirst. And for those that pray at night, all that they get is being awake. I get a lot of DMs, people being like, you know, my family, when they break Ramadan, they're breaking it with high fructose corn syrup or processed sugar and sodas. That's not the way. Read the Quran. It says break it with dates and with water. Why? Because it is pure. So you fast all day, thinking about eating and thinking about drinking, and at night you break your fast with that which you're trying to run away from. It makes no sense. So when you think about Ramadan, you can't just be thinking about food or water. It is beyond that. It is merely a representation and a manifestation in the three-dimensional realm of what it is to be a person that is in tune with their spirit and in tune with God.
Andrew and Tristan Tate aren't creating a cult. They are presenting real scenarios with real life consequences that are making people think about the actions of their life. And when you make people think, it's extremely dangerous. It's dangerous because you need to be running a narrative in order for the world to flow. And if anybody is disrupting your narrative, you can't have that. You're not talking about somebody that gets 50 million views. You're talking about somebody that gets billions and billions of views every single month. I think that they were conned and they got put in there unfairly. The life that you have is the life that you chose. But the problem, you know what it is people are afraid of assuming responsibility for their actions. Successful people will tell you that they're self-made. Unsuccessful people won't, but they're both self-made. The story of the bamboo. Bamboo spends 5 to 7 years under the dirt. And then within a couple weeks, it shoots up meters and meters into the sky. And people are like, whoa, bamboo grows so fast. No, it didn't. It took years. You just couldn't see it. So when you see growth and you see wins, it comes from consistently compounding wins. If you committed the next 365 days of your life to the persistent pursuit of your potential and you were grinding 24/7 and you didn't cheat yourself, imagine what you would become. You would become such a G that nobody would say, nah, this person ain't doing it. You'd be undeniable. 365 days, if you committed to that, you would win. The question is, are you going to? You need to be able to associate yourself with people that are going to elevate your consciousness, your mindset, your way of thinking. The second key is you always have to continue learning. The moment you stop learning, the moment you think you know it all, the market punches you in the face. The second part is you need to develop the right thinking pattern. So if you want to transition to different stages in your career, you need to be able to educate yourself, change your thinking patterns, and those thinking patterns will propel you to the next level. Most people, when they become entrepreneurs, they don't realize that what they're signing up for is a lot more fucking intense than they could ever imagine. Pitfalls, failures are part of the entrepreneurial journey. Your ability to bounce back, your ability to be resilient is what will differentiate you from your competitors and is what differentiates a winner from a loser. And don't forget, nobody ever fucking remembered the dude in second place.
If all you have is money, then the money, the moment it's worth nothing, means you're worth nothing. So you need to be able to be worth something beyond money. And the only thing that you can be worth is three things: based on skill, based on reputation, and based on the delivery of the skill. So how do people perceive you? How good are you at what you do? And are you the best at what you do? If you can cover all those three bases, you're irreplaceable.
Mention to me 5 people in your life right now that you give them a phone call and be like, yo, drop me a $250,000 wire. You need those people because your net worth isn't calculated by the money that you have, but by the access that you have to money. You could be poor, but be in a federal position where you can print $100 billion and put it into any industry where you have prior investments. It's all about positioning. Do your business partners matter? It's like asking LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Leo Messi. It's like asking the highest players in society if their team is important. If the people that they surround themselves with are high quality individuals, or do they hold them back? Now, most of you guys are low level individuals. That's just the name of the game. Let's be honest with each other. So you're hanging out with low level individuals. Do not have bad business partners. They are like the cancer of the fucking business. Have people that complement things that you are not good at. Have people that when they say they're going to do something, they follow through, or at least they work extremely hard. And finally, have people that you can trust and that are always focusing on leveling up and becoming better. If you do not have trust, if you do not have progress, you cannot have good, successful business partners. When you're trading, when you're investing, understand that this is real fucking money. This is money that you've worked for, worked very hard for. You can't just deploy it into the market and hope for the best. Invest with a strategy. Invest with the mindset of, you know what? This is my money, my capital. My goal is to multiply it. My goal isn't to gamble it. If not, go to fucking Vegas, bro. Go to fucking Vegas if you want to gamble. Put it all in black if you want to gamble. That's not how the world works.
This is what happens when Russia takes all of your energy. This is the only way that you can warm up in France. Fire. That's the cause of bad economic policy and bad foreign policy where you get fucked. If you look into what's happening with the energy crisis, Germany, France, all these countries, you'll realize the whole green movement, this whole climate change movement is another tool of matrix control to make sure people end up like brokies with no ecosystem to take care of themselves. No infrastructure, no sustainability. So here we are in Paris. The only way to keep ourselves warm is the name of the game. Wood and fire. Like the good old days.
There's something primal about it.
If I take you to a hospital, you will witness, very palpable, you can feel it in the air. It's very dense, the pain of regret. You need to understand that you must be willing to suffer today to become something tomorrow, instead of having anything you want today and having to pay the bill tomorrow. And I promise you, that bill is very fucking expensive. So ask yourself, what's the life I want? What's the life that I want to live? And what am I willing to sacrifice and become disciplined in so I don't have to deal with the regret and the bullshit of the future? The choice is yours. You got one life. It's all on you.
Are you religious? Religion is a man-made construct boxing the experiences that people have with regards to God and limiting everybody else's experiences to what they believe God is limited to. I think that there's a lot of truth and principles that can be applied and extracted and extrapolated, but if God could speak to all these other people, why can't he speak to me? I mean, just look in Christianity when they study theology, right? It's theology. Theo means God, ology, the study of, right? So theology, the study of God. So in Christian ecosystems, they have what is called systematic theology. So they systemize the study of God. So they tell you that this is the way that you should study God. And Matt, like how, in what shape or form can you develop autonomous thoughts if everything is being filtered through other people's opinions?
For example, Tristan Tate pulled up a video, his favorite whiskey, Johnny Walker. What do I do at duty free? Fucking Johnny Walker. That night, sipping the fucking Johnny Walker in the war room by myself with him, chilling. Why? I studied, bro. I knew what he liked. Every guy that I want to get into the room with, I know as much as I can about them. A basket of assets that's very reliable is 1 kilo of gold, 1 kilo of silver. You're going to have 10,000 Swiss francs because Switzerland is the banking capital of the world. You're going to have 10,000 US dollars because the United States is the military superpower of the world. And you're going to have 10,000 Singaporean dollars because Singaporean dollars are the least inflated currency and have some Bitcoin. And I think that's a good basket of assets if World War III hits. You won't be remembered for the money that you make. Bro, you won't even be remembered. The businesses you build, they won't last. The customers that you serve, they're gonna die as well. The haters that you have, their opinions will die with them. The lovers that you have, their opinions will die with them. So there's nothing to accomplish beyond yourself means that your focus in life should be to develop and enjoy existence. How many people can say that they enjoy existence? Truly, very few. That to me, my brother, is success. When you are weak, appear to be strong, and when you are strong, appear to be weak. And that is the ultimate way to manage and to determine who your enemies are, because you manage them by managing the perception that they have of you.
you see people scrolling on Instagram, checking their fucking stories, that's not because they're choosing to do that. They are on autopilot. That's what we call NPC mode. NPC mode isn't whether they know that they're doing something right or wrong. They don't even think whether what they're doing is right or wrong. They're just hungry. They're operating off of their primal instincts. They're not even thinking. They're not even getting to the point where they're developing thought. That's the crazy part. There's so many people that I've talked to about the difficulty of self-development and the difficulty of getting off of processed sugars and the difficulty of getting off of bad foods. It's hard. It took me years. What, you're just going to cut something that you did for 30 years, 25 years, 18 years in a day? What you need to do is you need to become a different person. But most people, they want an overnight shift. They want change to happen to them. They don't want to change. Who was the billionaire that died recently? Charlie Munger. Entrepreneurial hero, investing hero, billions of dollars. He's dead, done. None of the money matters. His portfolio allocation doesn't matter. How much of Berkshire Hathaway he owns doesn't matter. None of it matters. The people that he impacted, the relationships that he had, the truth that he imparted, the virtue or non-virtue in which he lived is what determined whether he was successful or not. And hopefully on his deathbed, he determined, you know what, I lived a successful life. But he has an interesting quote. He says, to live in a state of dread or to live in a state of fear or to live in a state of anxiety is a terrible way to live. And that was him at 29 when he'd just gone through a divorce and a child that had died and then became a multi-billionaire. So you go from the valleys of death to the pinnacles of heaven and none of it still matters. It's how you treated everybody along the journey, how you treated yourself, how you were in that endeavor. And I think that that is the cumulative definition of what I would say is successful. And I think we can all live it.
When you enter these rooms with these people that you want to network with, one, do not be like them. Don't wear the same shit that people wear. Don't talk the same way that people talk. Don't think the same way that people think. Have your own thoughts. Do not go in the direction of the crowd, but stand apart, set yourself apart, and that will attract people to you.
Don't do what billionaires say. Do what billionaires do. So all you have to do is evaluate what are the billionaires that support crypto initiatives like Bitcoin. And they are the billionaires that run the world. You look at Elon Musk, the Winklevoss twins, Mark Cuban. They run narratives, especially the internet narratives. It tells you that they understand what is happening. So what you do is you prepare yourself ahead of time for future interactions.
Not going into crazy conspiracy, but look at Kobe Bryant, right? When his helicopter crashed, which is crazy to think about, he was actually in the middle of a lawsuit, was about to start to testify against the supplement brand that he had partnered with because they had found traces of methamphetamines inside the pre-workouts, just to hook motherfuckers, right? So he died, but I don't know if he died for that. Who knows, right? Maybe the 20-year pilot just lost experience that one day. It just made no sense. But they're poisoning your food, not only to fuck you, but also to keep you in the rat race of addiction.
Bro, I went to a hotel. I know it sounds crazy. The guy was mopping the floors. He was a janitor. I've done janitor work, so we're just talking. And he's sitting down with his phone during his break, scrolling through TikTok. And I literally go and sit down with him. We're having mate. And I ask him, hey, what are you doing in your free time? I was like, why is it that you're choosing to do this? And we start chopping it up. 10 minutes in, he tells me that he used to own a business, but that he quit because he went into debt. He couldn't make it. He lost hope. And where did he end up? Janitor. Why? Not because a janitor is a measly job, but because he lost hope, because the environment around him told him that he was going to lose. But what if the environment around him was positive and empowering? So you know what I said? Bro, go back and start the business again, bro. If you were able to do it once, you can do it again. Everybody thinks that most people are going to be unsuccessful. That's why most people are unsuccessful. Why can't we walk around wishing the best of people?
On the way to success, on the path to the top, you're gonna have these little pebbles, these little minuscule worms in the way that will have something to say, but it doesn't matter. Their opinion is obsolete. Their opinion is irrelevant. On the way to success, the hate is inevitable, but let the losers do their thing and we continue winning. You have a razor that you use to shave.
Yeah.
If I give it to a child and he cuts his face, who's at fault? Is it the razor or is it the child? It can't be the razor because the razor's just the razor. The razor does what the razor does. The problem isn't the child either because the child is just immature. But if you give that same razor to a grown man, he's gonna shave normal. He's gonna understand how to use it.
Yeah.
So what is the premise? Is that a good thing at the wrong time can now become a dangerous thing.
Risk is an illusion because what may be risky to you isn't risky to somebody that's more developed. You balancing yourself on the edge of a cliff like this to a professional would be like cakewalk. To you, the problem ain't the rope, it's you.
Bro, it's so easy to make money. Online, anybody can go out and make 10 grand a month. But who learns taxes? Who learns budgeting? Who learns human resources? Nobody learns those things because they're the boring parts of the business. And if you don't learn them, you're gonna crash. The last thing you wanna be is a person that pumps cash but has no ability to retain it. You don't wanna be that guy.
Everybody worships, but nobody worships the hard work. Nobody worships the grind. Nobody worships the discipline. Nobody worships the commitment. Nobody worships the sacrifice. You don't understand what it is to be working at 5 in the morning, clocking in after clubbing all night and going to bed at fucking 11 in the morning. You don't know that shit. You gotta realign the priorities.
Self-education will never betray you. You don't like to read books? Nobody gives a fuck. The marketplace doesn't care. You're not going to learn everything on YouTube. That's what people don't seem to understand. Sometimes you have to crack open the book. Sometimes you have to study. But people think that studying is what you used to do in school. No, go study a topic that interests you. You can't be out here scrolling on TikTok 24/7 with dopamine hits, thinking that you're going to get financial literacy off of a TikTok short. It may give you some insight and information, but what are you going to do with it? You're relying off TikTok information to build your life upon it? You have to become self-educated. What I've realized that people do is they want to cut something out. I'm going to cut out smoking. I'm going to cut out drinking. But you're not supposed to cut out something. You're supposed to replace it. There's a quote that says, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you're not thinking about anything, if you're not doing anything, if you're not being productive, then you're most likely going to go back to what? Your tendencies and your old habits that you formed over a long period of time. So if you want to change those habits, if you want to change those tendencies, then you need to be in a situation whereby you're replacing them with a positive feedback loop. If you're not a lover of yourself, if you're not a fan of yourself, who else is going to be a fan of you? If I can't look at myself in the mirror and be like, you know what, you have shortcomings, but you also have great things. I treat myself like I would treat somebody else. I'm in a relationship with me. It's not like, oh, I'm just myself. I go through hardships, I go through difficulties, but when I interact with myself, I try to cheer myself up. You're doing well, like you're crushing. Even if I'm not crushing.
While they're partying, you're working. While they're sleeping, you're working. While they're at the cinema eating junk food, you're at home healthy, developing your mindset. Because you realize that in order to get to the next level, you must be willing to sacrifice the necessities and the requirements to get to the next level.
I will never disclose how much I'm worth. Money's energy. The moment you begin to expose that energy, people start to understand how powerful or how weak you truly are. Numbers will keep them private. Let's just leave actions to speak for themselves. When you scroll to refresh and you slide your thumb down and it does the refresh, it's supposed to mimic when you pull the roulette in the casino because you don't know what's the next video that's going to pop up. Every time you swipe down, like the casino, cha-ching machine, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. You are literally not addicted to TikTok, you're addicted to dopamine hits. And if TikTok had their best interests in mind, they wouldn't be hiring psychologists to figure out how can we keep people on our app. People think that life is all about pleasure and about being happy. Who told you that life was about happiness? Who lied to you? Life is about life, about experiencing life. You're supposed to enjoy and learn and train through suffering the same way that you do from pleasure, because now you realize that suffering is part of life. It's undeniably a part of life. If you tell yourself enough times that it's possible, it can be possible. And I know it sounds motivational speaky, but imagine every single day instead of saying, oh, my day sucks, life is terrible. Imagine your entire mindset was, it's possible to get to the next level. It's possible to be great. It's possible to make more money. It's possible to be more healthy. And your entire perspective on life is positive. Even if you had to lie yourself into believing, sometimes you have to create a delusion that is so far out there that people will think you're crazy. If you're not motivated, it's for a few reasons. Either you don't like what you're doing, either you don't understand the mission as to why you're doing something. You do the things that you want to do. You put time into the things that you want to put time into. The life that you have is the life that you chose. Where you're currently living, what you're currently doing, you chose that. Da Vinci has this incredible quote: to develop a complete mind, study the science of art, study the art of science, learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. He understood he could study art in a scientific way and he could study science in an artistic way, and that what he was told reality wasn't the way that it was. Maybe we perceive reality by the constructs that we've been given and not for what reality actually is. If you want to develop a complete mind, you need to develop multiple aspects of your life. How you do fitness is how you do business. How you take care of your girl is how you're going to take care of your customers. Look at the past, look at who you've become, the progress that you've made, and if you haven't made a lot of progress, just be happy at the fact that you're fucking alive, because you have the chance to make progress, and live in the present moment, here and now, and use your time, energy, and attention, my friend, to pursue your goal. How can I make $1 million? No, motherfucker. How can you today pick up a damn book that teaches you what the history of money is? This thing that you're pursuing, you don't even know what it is. You're just chasing it like every other motherfucker chases it. People chase shit that doesn't attract to them. People chase stuff that runs. I don't chase, I attract. I'm literally just sitting here and money comes to me. How? You don't think it's real? Don't worry, don't think it's real. More money for me. The ones that get it, bro.
The 11 books that have made me rich. So we have Time is Money by Ada Nolan. We have Scientific Advertising. This is probably one of the best books in the world. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. If you haven't read this, fucking G book has revolutionized companies and has revolutionized individuals at some of the highest levels in society. Book that none of you guys have ever read because it was given to me by some high net worth individuals. Millionaire Master Plan. This shit's crazy. The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio. Shop Management, Understanding Management. If you want to run a successful business, you have to learn how to manage companies. High Output Management. You have to learn how to be a CEO. Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. If you guys aren't familiar with Patrick, he's a fucking G. The 5 Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. Phenomenal book. The Lord of Easy Money. And then finally, we have, this is the white paper from Toshi Nakamoto regarding Bitcoin.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be a multimillionaire. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be healthy and have a nice home and take care of your family. But the system will tell you you have to work, you have to be an employee. When you realize that the way to make money, the way to liberate yourself, isn't through the ways of the system. It's not through a 9 to 5. It's through self-development. It's through the understanding of the game. It's through understanding how the system works and understanding how to exploit the system to your advantage, because there's loopholes that were created intentionally by people that created the rules of the system that you abide by.
From the moment you're born, you're told what your nationality is, what your religion is, what to think, what to believe, what to wear, who's your enemy, who's your friend, what color's your color, what color's not your color. You're not even yourself. So this idea of truth and seeking information is for you to start developing who you want to become. Not who am I, who do I want to become, and then work towards that persistent pursuit of the potential that you can achieve as an individual. I don't know about you, but in my book, in my opinion, I can't lose, because losing is something that is designed for people that quit and for people that fail. I don't fail. I learn. I reevaluate. I analyze. I cross-examine. I fine-tune. I refine my craft. Maybe not now in my mid-20s, but in my 40s, in my 50s, in my 60s, in my 70s, in my 80s, in my 100s, I will have refined my craft, because it's a process of self-development. So if you couldn't fail because failure is not an option, because failure isn't real, who would you become? Who would you be? Who's holding you back? Who's telling you you can't? You? Or is it the programming inside of you? Maybe it ain't you. There's a verse in the Bible that says, at the end of times, the merchants will deceive the entire world. The dude from Louis Vuitton is selling you the pipe dream. What is he selling you? That the Louis Vuitton bag is gonna make you dope. He conned everybody. It's a capitalization on the identity of individuals. The issue isn't the Louis Vuitton. The issue isn't any of these things. The issue is when your identity is placed in them, and when that is stripped from you, you are nothing. If I was to take away your designer, what would be left? Or are you a carcass of the dreams of other men?
Stop, ask yourself, how much money is in my bank account? Who am I? Am I where I want to be? Am I accomplishing my goals? Look at my ecosystem, look at my body. Am I happy with this? Is this my fullest potential? If the answer is no, ask yourself, what information do I need in order to change those things in my life that are not optimized? It doesn't have to be everything at once. People want to make $1 million, have a six-pack, be tan, traveling the world all in 1 year. It doesn't work that way. Chill out, make a plan. But it all starts with small compounding wins. Doing the same thing every single day consistently will not only get you further along, but it'll make you a master.
You know you need to go to the gym. You know you need to start this business. You know you need to read this book, but you don't do it. Why? Why don't you do it? Not, oh, I didn't do it today. No, why didn't you do it? Why did you cave to the nonsensical bullshit in the perspective that you're above the grind, you're above the work, you're above the consistency? Because these are the things that are holding you back. But why is it that you know what to do, but you don't do it? Don't just say, oh, because I'm lazy. No, that's not good enough. It's not that you're lazy. Something else is wrong. You need to be able to identify these things. And once you identify these things, you're able to tackle them effectively.
Messi spent 15 to 17 years of his career playing every single day, and then basically at the end of his career, he won the World Cup. That's a cumulative effort of 17 years, if not 30 years of complete dedication to the craft in order to become the ultimate winner. And that's what it takes. Consistency compounds. And if you want to be in the game, you need to understand that you must be willing to sacrifice who you are today for who you will become tomorrow.
People out here flexing that they make 10K a day. I understand to the 99.9% that's a fuck ton of money. I get it. I'm going to talk to the guys that have big ambitions and big dreams. 10K a day. What is that? 300K a month. What is that? 3 million a year. 10 years, that's 30 million. 40% taxes. What are you left with? Let's say you're left with 20. Living expenses, you're left with 15. You just work 10 years and you have 15 million in the bank. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but it ain't a lot of money because you can spend it really fast. Sure, you can scale 10, 20, 30K days, but if you want to get the big numbers, dude, you need to be playing a completely different game. Elon did it. The guy sells out of PayPal, takes all of his fucking money from PayPal, reinvests it, goes risky, almost loses it all, and builds 3 multi-billion-dollar companies.
A genius isn't a person that does everything. A genius is a person that does the right things, the necessary things, conserving energy, playing the game right. Because if you understand that everything's energy, because everything is energy, whether it's money, whether it's relationships, everything transmutes to energy. Your goal is to conserve your energy as much as possible.
I'm not a winner by what I've achieved. I'm a winner by what I do today. Not what I did yesterday, not by what I do tomorrow, not how you perceive me, but how I perceive myself. Did I cheat myself today? Or did I win? Did I beat myself at this game of life? That's all that matters. I ain't competing with you, I ain't competing with him, with her. I'm competing with myself. Winners win, losers lose. Pick a fucking side and go after.
Before I eat any meal, I do 50 push-ups. Oh, why? Well, because if I look good, I'm gonna close more deals. If I look good, I'm gonna be more respected. If I look good, I'm gonna have better first impressions. If I look good, all those things are gonna make me more money. All those things are gonna make my business better. 15 minutes of walking after every meal. So before every meal, 50 push-ups. You earn that meal. After every meal, to walk it off, 15 minutes. Walk around the neighborhood, stretch, back into action. Very straightforward, very simple. John D. Rockefeller said, "He who works all the time has no time to make money." What did he mean by this? Is that the person that is occupied their entire time focused on labor, which is not a bad thing, but if your entire time is focused on labor, thinking that that's the solution to money and to wealth creation, they don't understand what money is, or how it's created, or how it's multiplied, or how it's even preserved. So you need to be the person that exchanges money for time instead of time for money.
If I told you every single day that we were going to go to the gym and I didn't show up, but you showed up on the 10th day, would you believe me? Would you trust me?
Not a chance.
So the problem is most people don't trust themselves because they are in auto self-sabotage mode 24/7. No wonder you don't have any courage. No wonder you think you're going to fail. Your mind is literally telling you, I can't trust you. So you need to start on the small wins. Get groomed, clean your room, start hanging out with good people. Read a chapter in a book and say, I'm going to read a chapter. And you sit down and you read it and you start building trust with yourself. And then you realize, wow, I can actually do anything that I want.
I'm going to give you 2 pieces of advice. As you become successful, never forget God. You will be tempted to forget your first love, the one that put you where you are. Never forget. Whether you believe in God or not, do your research, do your study. Very fucking real. And then the second thing, study Newton's third law. Newton's third law states that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And it's the principle of sowing and reaping. That for everything that you input into the world, you will output in equal proportion to that which you input. If you go to the gym X amount of time, you will obtain X result in accordance to the effort that you put in. The life that you have is the life that you chose. The decisions that you made have put you where you are today. A lot of you guys are happy with the life that you have. A lot of you guys are not. And that is in direct proportion to the actions and decisions that you've made. If you want a different life, make different choices.
If you guys look up the net worth of the royal family, they've literally built this entire sandhill into an absolute utopia. And you look at their net worth on Forbes and it says $2 billion. To make $2 billion a day. You have no idea. These people are sitting on trillions of dollars, whether it's in cash, petroleum, black gold. Real wealth shuts up.
If you want to become successful, you want to define, first of all, what success means to you, not to other people. Fuck what other people think, because you need to be able to sit down yourself and write down, what does a symphony of success sound like to me in my life when I am laying on my deathbed and I am by myself, me, myself, and I, not the haters on the internet, not the people that love me on the internet, not my parents, not my siblings, not my spouse, not my school teacher, me by myself, alone, by myself. If I'm sitting there and I can define myself as a successful person, will I be able to answer that question with clarity? And if the answer is no, then you fucked up. You do not want to be a carcass of the dreams and aspirations of other people. Do you hear me?
I don't want to be talking about bitches 24/7. In fact, I don't want to be talking about bitches, period. Why? Because they drain my energy. I don't need my energy drained. I need my energy channeled to become the best version of myself. Oh, well, Luke, you don't get bitches. I don't need to get bitches. What I need to get is fucking rich. I need to get fucking strong. I need to become a superhero. That's the mission I'm on. And if you're not on the same wavelength, it's not my problem. Probably asleep.
I think one of the reasons for my success was I always felt inadequate in every room that I was in. So I placed myself in rooms that didn't rub my ego, but in rooms that checked my ego and showed me how much further I actually had to go. And that places you in a place of discomfort, but it's in the discomfort that you grow.
You need to understand that you must be willing to suffer today to become something tomorrow, instead of having anything you want today and having to pay the bill tomorrow. And I promise you, that bill is very fucking expensive. Ask yourself, what type of life do I want? Do I want to instill these habits that are going to push me to the next level? Or am I just going to continue doing what I've always done? I'm just going to continue doing what every other fucker's out here doing. You're going to have the same result. The pain of discipline, it only weighs a few ounces, so the pain that comes from regret weighs tons. Right now, 1, go get spring water. Don't drink Dasani purified water. It's gonna fuck you up. 2, once you have a little bit of money, start eating super clean, super organic. Understand that the food that you consume has pesticides, has chemicals. You wanna be eating nutritious whole foods, not processed foods. You do not wanna be using Teflon pans. They have forever chemicals. Get a cast iron. It costs you $20. If you have an air fryer, don't use a microwave. Microwave, you're literally killing all the good stuff in there, all the vitamins, all the minerals. It's completely killing the food. Don't drink sodas. Water, sometimes organic coconut water, super good for electrolytes. Add some chlorophyll in there, add some lime, some sea salt. I'm giving you the whole rundown. My time is worth $10,000 an hour because that's what people pay me for a coaching call. When you calculate how much I work every single day and then how much money I make on a yearly basis, I make a lot of money. So how is it that somebody can work more hours than me, work harder than me, and produce a lot less? Big difference is that they are in a situation whereby they are focusing their work and their hours on low ROI tasks. Usually these tasks are tasks that are low friction, that they enjoy doing, that don't involve some sort of conflict or a big growth factor required.
Wake the up, bro. Enough with the bullshit, enough with the excuses, enough with the nonsense, enough with being in a situation where you're always complaining, always pointing fingers. Point the fingers at yourself. The life that you have is the life that you chose. If you don't like the life that you have, it's your damn fault. Change. Make different decisions. Hang out with different people. Instill some discipline, some habits. Win.
Everybody wants to live in the fucking and eating state. Those are the two most primal states that you can be in. That's what most people just do all day. And if it's not having sex, it's jerking off. There's more to life. At some point, sex gets old. No, it doesn't get old. Find a good relationship. Find a person that allows you to be you. Set the parameters that give freedom, but do it in a sense of respect. Be loyal. Have integrity. This concept of going and sleeping with a ton of women or being unfaithful is popularized, but it's not for me. I believe in loyalty. I believe in integrity. If I can be in a situation whereby I can be an honest person, then how can my community expect me to be honest with them?
Wealth by definition is not money. Don't get me mistaken. Wealth by definition is abundance. If you're only rich with money, but your family hates you and you have no friends and you are lying in a bed dying, or you wake up with stress and with anxiety, are you truly wealthy? So health, relationships, finances are integral. And if you're missing one of them, there will be something missing in your life. So you cannot neglect one, because if you neglect one, it'll have damaging effects to all the other areas of your life.
BlackRock is an organization, it's a company publicly listed on NASDAQ that has tens of trillions of dollars of assets under management. They disclose that they have like 14 trillion, but that is only BlackRock. Then they own majority share in most of the companies in America. They own Pfizer, Moderna, all the airlines, all the social networks. So when you see all this agenda, kind of everybody working together, then you have to realize who actually owns it. So you go to Amazon, for example, you go to Yahoo Finance, you go to Amazon, you go to the ticker of the stock, you go to top holders, and you realize Jeff Bezos ain't the biggest holder of Amazon. He's no longer the majority shareholder of his company, so he doesn't make the final decisions. As you run these companies and these organizations publicly listed, you need to understand that people with money, they can come in and swoop your share.
What was the difference between the Joker and Batman? They both had childhood trauma. It's what was forged from that trauma. One became a hero, one became a villain. You're writing your story. Nobody's writing it for you. Yeah, things happen, bullshit happens, but you have the power within yourself to determine if you want to be the hero of your story, if you want to be the villain. Most people are self-sabotaging, but if they can understand that the principle is your past doesn't determine who you are right now, that if you focus on becoming successful in every area of life, health, wealth, love, and happiness, this quadrant for a successful life, you can actually live a life of impact, not with your words, but with your action, and you end up leaving the world in a better way than you found it.
If you read 100 pages a day, which isn't a lot, nobody can tell me that it's unrealistic to read 100 pages a day. It might take a person 2-3 hours. You might have to be dedicated and do that repeatedly. And you don't have to do it your entire life. Maybe you do it for 3 months. But think about how ahead you would be if your entire competition would be unbelievable.
Make it so hard to lose that it becomes easy to win. So if you have junk food in your house and you're overweight, then what you're doing is you're creating a battle that shouldn't be there, right? So what I need to do is remove all sort of distractions, understanding that I have a goal in mind. But most people, they enjoy to do the things that fuck them up. They enjoy to do things that aren't going to push them forward because they have no objectives and no goals. How do you know that going out and partying and drinking is the ultimate version of fun if you haven't experienced a plethora of versions of fun? If all you know is that, then that's what you're going to revert to. So what I tell people is don't fall into the bullshit. Don't fall into the psyop of what somebody else has told you is enjoyable. Go and explore multiple things and don't become a slave to anything. The moment you become a slave to something, you lost.
The right woman will empower you. She will fuel you, she will inspire you, and she will push you towards becoming a better version of yourself. I've only been with one woman my entire life. I'm still with her. She was with me when I had nothing. She would drive me to work. I had no car. So when I got everything that I wanted and I became somebody, how could I let her go? She believed in me. She trusted me when I had nothing. And now that I've achieved some sort of success, it's only fair that I bring her along for the journey. So my perspective is very simple. Find individuals that will empower you. And if you can find a partner that loves you for who you are, but also empowers you to become a better version of yourself, stick close to that person, be loyal, be honest, be kind, be authentic, and keep those people around, because there's not too many people in life that are gonna want the best for you. And if you can't find a good woman, if you can't find a good partner, it's usually a reflection of you. The education system was created by the Rockefeller Foundation under the Prussian school system, which was the idea of creating factory working bots that don't question, they don't do anything except obey. That's why the school system resembles the industrial era. You raise your hand in order to use the bathroom, there's an assembly line, the bell rings, therefore that's your break, that's your cue. You have to be operating just within your little dynamic. You can't explore. You're not supposed to collaborate. You're within your little area of work. This is what you do. But it not only resembles the industrial kind of era, but it also resembles the prison complex, right? So you have the fluorescent lights, you have the locked rooms, you walk in a line, you go to the yard 1 hour of the day, and you only do it when the bell rings. All you have to do is look at what a cafeteria looks like in the United States school and look at a cafeteria at prison. They look the same. So everything is conditioned from the moment you're young to absolutely create and prune you into being a fiat slave. Every time you sleep with a woman, you taint her and she taints you, whether you like it or not. And I just refuse to be tainted by people or marked by people that I do not know. So I've only decided to know one person, and with that, I'm content.
So you disagree with a Tate perspective of multiple wives?
I wouldn't say it's a Tate perspective. I would say it's quite a global perspective of doing whatever you want. Now, I've just adopted the lifestyle and the belief system that one woman for me is enough. I think getting married under God and faithfulness to one woman is the best life. I don't care if you live in Africa, I don't care if you live in South America, I don't care if you live in the North Pole. If you have a computer, if you have a cell phone, if you have the internet, you have the opportunity, specifically with free AI that's out there, to at least do something with your life. And the democratization of information gives access to the democratization of opportunity, and opportunity is everywhere. I can be alone and not be lonely because I'm with myself. When you're in the car, turn off that motherfucking radio. Be in your thoughts. Ask yourself, why is it that you do what you do? Why is it that you pursue the goals and the dreams that you pursue? Have these conversations. Be comfortable in your own skin. If you're uncomfortable, ask yourself, why is it that you're experiencing these things? You don't need other people, because when you're on your deathbed, nobody's going to be there. It's just you, yourself, figuring out, did I live a successful life? Did I do what I say I was going to do? You can't point fingers. You can't say, oh, because this person said this or this person said that. No. You're fully accountable for your life. And when it's all said and done, it's all up to you. So why not live that way?
I often get asked, Luke, is entrepreneurship for everyone? Well, the answer is no. When you're an entrepreneur, you're the last one to get paid. Your contractors, your employees, the cost of operating your business, all of that has to be paid first, and whatever is left is what you take home. There's plenty of people that get rich without starting a business. So if you want to make money, focus on high value opportunities that have low risk, where you get compensated not by the hour, but compensated for showing up. And this, my friend, is what I think most aspiring entrepreneurs should get started doing.
There's so much money out there to be made. First of all, you have to realize that you can't have a scarcity mindset regarding money. You can't have a scarcity mindset regarding wealth. You can't have a scarcity mindset regarding growth, because if you do, then you're going to end up in a situation whereby you don't see what the world has to offer. We just have to realize that it's available with enough work, with enough dedication, with enough planning, with enough education, with enough network, and well, with a touch of magic, you can achieve your dreams.
Islam, for example. To me, Muslims, they are the most hospitable people in the world. Like, undebatably, dude, I was homeless and a Muslim dude took me in. And he was roommates with a gay guy that he took in himself. To that point. So I look at that and I'm like, what is it that this person believes that has changed him to the core to such a point that he's willing to do that? 95% of Christians wouldn't take me in. Why? That's the questions you got to answer.
Hey, fat fuck, you're looking chubby. When do you finish school?
2 months.
What's your plan?
2 months. Maybe get a healthy body first. But
Yes, why don't you have a healthy body now?
messed up.
There's no reason. So the next 2 months before you start your business or before you do your shit, you gotta get healthy, bro. As your brother, you gotta get this motherfucker in the gym, bro. Come here, young homie. I need you fit. You know why? Because the older you get, it's gonna be harder to get healthy. I need you shredded. Don't let this motherfucker eat junk food, okay? Anytime he's eating junk food, tell him. You have my permission. Hey, fat fuck, you're looking chubby, and you need to give him permission to call you out. You give him permission?
Yes.
If he gets fat, it's your fault, bro. You're not a good brother if he gets fat. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, boys. Nice meeting you.
University is single-handedly one of the biggest scams. There's no way that a degree, 4 years of education, should indent you. 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their bank account, and somehow they're supposed to pay down the debt of some bullshit university degree over their entire life. The reason this exists is for a very simple reason. As a government organization, you want your workforce to be slaves. So what you do is you tell them you have to go through an accreditation process where you are accredited into the marketplace. This accreditation process will indent you for the rest of your fucking life, and that is how we keep you working 9 to 5 in the workforce from the moment you are 22 all the way to the moment you retire at 65. And what do you have to show for it? Some bullshit ass 401k, a couple coin, maybe a nice house if you're lucky on the lake. That's about fucking it. Does that sound like a sensible, intelligent life?
Money is not the most important thing. Yeah, I would like to have a private jet. Yeah, I could buy a private jet, but do I need a private jet? No. Do I need 10 supercars? They'd be cool. Do I need them? No. Do I need a bigger box? I just got done selling my home. It was a $4 million house. Why? Because I don't need that shit. So my entire premise was to create an environment for entrepreneurs to level up, to ask questions, to be themselves. I'll ask a person when they come up to me, hey, how much money do you make? What do you do for a living? And I'll tell them, don't lie to me. Why? Because I'm creating this environment for people to be themselves. Once you know who you are and you're authentic with yourself and you don't lie and you don't try to impress people, then you can work on becoming better. So I think Capital Club is net positive for the world and it's going to do great things.